Hello dear friends, welcome to the lecture of differential calculus. In this lecture we shall study theorem on total differentials. I have written the statement here and we shall prove this theorem. What is the meaning of the statement, that also we shall see first. Differential of each variable, what is meaning of the differential, that also we shall see. I have written the statement, let z is equal to f of x comma y, means z is a function of x and y. Here it is clear that z is dependent variable and x and y are independent variables. Then the total differential dz of the dependent variable z is given by this relation. dz is equal to dou z by dou x, means partial derivative of z with respect to x into dx, plus dou z by dou y into dy, where dx and dy are the differentials of the independent variables x and y. So that means the theorem gives relation between the differentials of dependent variable and independent variable, and that involves the partial derivative of z, dependent variable, with respect to x and y. So dz is the differential of z. Further we will see what is the difference in change in the variable and differential of the variable. So dz is partial derivative of z with respect to x into dx plus partial derivative of z with respect to y into dy. So that is the relation we want to prove. Now we shall start the proof. Proof for this theorem, or proof of the theorem. Here we have z is function of x and y, and therefore z depends on x and y. If there are changes in x and y, then z will change, and these changes in these variables we shall denote by the notation delta. That means we are going to denote delta x as the change in x, delta y as the change in y, and delta z is the change in z. So if there are changes, then there will be differential or derivative of the function, and if the function remains constant, there is no change, then the differential or the derivative will be 0 or does not exist. So therefore we are considering the changes. The change may be increment or a decrement, and earlier in might have denoted the changes by this letter delta x, delta y, delta z. So this what is the difference in this is, here the capital delta is used and here small delta is used. Delta is Greek letter, so used to denote the change in variable. And we shall start the proof with this statement. These are the changes in corresponding variables x, y and z. First there will be change in x and y, then there will be change in z. So we will write, let delta x, delta y be the changes, and delta y be the changes in x and y respectively. And let, if there are changes in x and y, corresponding change will be in z, and that change in z we will denote by delta z. Let delta z be the corresponding change in z, or consequent change in z. Now we have z is function of x and y. Now we will add the increments or changes in each variable, so that we have denoted delta z is the change in z, and therefore we add the change here, z plus delta z, that is the change, z changes. But when z changes, if there is change in x, delta x is the change in x and delta y is the change in y. So therefore here this will be function of x plus delta x and y plus delta y. So we have added the corresponding changes in these variables. Z plus delta z, here x plus delta x, y becomes y plus delta y. So therefore this is the new function, this is the original, and this is the function obtained after changes which happens in x and y first. And from this we want to write change in z, that is delta z, and therefore from this delta z is equal to, this will be f of x plus delta x comma y plus delta y minus z. This z is transferred on right side, and but what is z? Z is again f of xy, and therefore I shall write this as f of x plus delta x y plus delta y minus f of x comma y. So this is delta z. Now we will express this delta z as further is equal to, this is f of x plus delta x y plus delta y minus, I shall write f of x plus delta x comma y. See, I have not written this term, but I have written this additional term minus f of x plus delta x comma y, which is not here, and therefore we have to add the same term, and that I shall write plus f of x plus delta x comma y minus f of x comma y, and I put these quantities in bracket. Now you note what we have done, we have subtracted and we have added this term, so there is no change in the value, and original function right side remains the same, f of this function f of this quantity minus f of x comma y. These two are the original term. This is subtracted and added, so the effect cancels. Why we have written like this? Because now for these brackets, two brackets, we want to use Lagrange mean value theorem, and how to use the theorem, that is also to be noted. See, I shall write here, we by another form of Lagrange mean value theorem, we have another form of Lagrange mean value theorem for a function. For a function, I shall denote the function by capital F. Capital F of x in the interval a comma a plus h. We have seen this in the chapter of mean value theorems. You can refer that. For a function capital F of x, why I have used capital F? Because f we have used here, and there should not be overlapping of this f and that function. So what we have is f of a plus h minus f of a is equal to h f dash at a plus theta times h. So this is another form of Lagrange mean value theorem. And what about this theta? This theta is between 0 and 1. So we want to use this Lagrange mean value theorems form, and therefore using this Lagrange form, using Lagrange theorem, using Lagrange mean value theorem, so we have, for these two brackets we shall use the theorem. Now how to use it? F of x plus delta x y plus delta y minus f of x plus delta x comma y. What will be this? See here, the difference, if the interval is, or 2 points are a and a plus h, interval is then f of a plus h minus f of a. This is single variable function, but here this is not single variable function. This is a two variable function, and that note change we have to note. Here f of a plus h minus f of a is equal to h. What is the change is in these values is h. F dash, the total derivative of this function f at a plus theta h. A plus theta h is the value in this interval, open interval a to a plus h. And here what will be the this result here for this difference? F of x plus delta x comma y plus delta y minus f of x plus delta x comma y. Now we note that the change is in which variable. Here you see x plus delta x and x plus delta x remains the same. So therefore there is no change in the x value, and there is change in y value. So y plus delta y, and here is y, and that means the variable is changing variable is only y and not x, and therefore this derivative should be with respect to y. And what is the this quantity h? What is h here? See the difference in these values, a and a plus h. H is the difference, so we have written h. Here there is no change in this value, we don't consider it, and here there is change in y value. So what is the change in y value? That is delta y. So in place of h here we have delta y, and now f dash here means derivative of this function, and here that derivative will be partial, because here this is the function of single variable, and the derivative we have denoted by this prime notation, which is total derivative. But here the only y variable is changing, therefore the function is to be differentiated with respect to y, and this f dash becomes partial derivative of f with respect to y. We will use this notation for partial derivative. F suffix y means dou f by dou y, and at which point? The point is a plus theta h. Now here the point will be y plus, now you see a plus h is written here as a plus theta h. Here y plus delta y we will write it as, but before that I shall write this step here. Delta y, the partial derivative of f with respect to y. So this value is equal to, and see a plus theta h we have written, and that means here y plus theta into h. H is delta y. So but x variable there is no change. So we have to write, this is always a function of two variable. So we should write x plus delta x as it is. And now the what will be this y and y plus delta y, a and a plus h. So that is written as a means y plus, and here theta 1 we shall consider instead of theta, we will write theta 1 into delta y. See, this is the difference, first bracket difference we have written using Lagrange mean value theorem. You should note the things how we have used this form. So this is written for only for information, or you may put this in bracket. So no, it is not compulsory to write in the proof, but for reference I have written how to use this result for two variable function. And secondly, and what is the second expression? This bracket f of x plus delta x comma y minus f of x comma y. Now you see, I shall write here. Here again it is a function of two variable, but there is change in which variable? Now there is change in x variable. X plus delta x here is only x. Y doesn't change. And what is the change? Change is delta x. So here the right side will be h, means here delta x, and the derivative must be with respect to the variable x, because x is changing, y is not changing, and here the partial derivative will be with respect to x. F suffix x means dou f by dou x. We have used that notation. At which point? Now the point will be here you see h is delta x, and therefore that will be x times theta 2 delta x. Here we have written theta 1 delta y, and here it will be x plus theta 2 times delta x. and y will be the same. So this is the result for the second bracket using Lagrange mean value theorem. So you should please note this changes, how we have used the another form of Lagrange mean value theorem. Note the change in the variable. What is the change here? Instead of h, here for the first result delta y, and for the second result the change is delta x. For the first result, the derivative is partial with respect to y, and here the derivative is partially with respect to x, and the changes is a plus theta h. See, this is written as a plus theta h, and at the similar way we have written y plus theta 1 delta y, because two results we have to write, and therefore we have used notation theta 1 and theta 2. So y plus theta 1 times delta y, and here x plus theta 2 times delta x, and here x plus delta x remains fixed, here y remains fixed. So where these values theta 1 and theta 2 lie between 0 and 1. So we shall refer this as equation 1, and now we will use these results in equation 1. So using these in 1, what we shall get? So using these results in 1, so here what I have written is dx and dy are the differentials of x and y, so that we can remember, and therefore I shall write here the further steps here. So this is the main result we want to prove. Now I will say that using these values in 1, using these results in 1, we get which results we have to use? These two, this first bracket and this is the second bracket. We get delta z is equal to, delta z is, this is the first value, delta y partial derivative of f with respect to y at point x plus delta x, y plus theta 1 times delta y, and plus the second value is delta x. See, this second bracket is this one, and that is delta x partial derivative of f with respect to x at x plus theta 2 delta x comma y. So this is what we have obtained using these results from Lagrange mean value theorem in 1. Now again further we shall simplify this. We do an adjustment of term as like this. I shall write this first as delta x f of x, or delta x partial derivative of f with respect to x at x comma y, plus delta y partial derivative of f with respect to y at x y. This additional term I have written, and next I shall write plus delta y, this term, and in bracket I shall write f suffix y means partial derivative of f with respect to y, x plus delta x, y plus theta 1 times delta y, minus partial derivative of f with respect to y at point x y, x comma y, plus, and next term I shall write delta x partial derivative of f with respect to x at point x plus theta 2 delta x comma y, minus partial derivative of f with respect to x at x comma y. Now please note this step, because see, we have done an adjustment here, and that is simple to understand. So these are the additional terms I have written, and this term delta x partial derivative of f with respect to x cancels with this term negative delta x partial derivative of f partial derivative of f with respect to x at the same point. So this first term cancels with this term, product is delta x. Delta x is written common. And similarly, this second term delta y dou f by dou y cancels with this negative delta y dou f by dou y. So these two terms cancel with these two terms and the original value remains the same. It is the same. So this is the first term which is here and this is the second term which is here. These additional terms are cancelled here. So we have written this purposefully because we want to write this in a particular manner. Further, this can be written as, now this is left side is delta z and the right side is see delta z is equal to delta x and what is this, I shall write that as dou z by dou x because it is partial derivative of f with respect to x and means f is same as z. So therefore f suffix x means actually dou f by dou x, or that means dou z by dou x because z is equal to f, and therefore I shall write that as dou z by dou x plus delta y, and this is also dou f by dou y means dou z by dou y. Z is same as y, z is same as x, z is same as f, z is same as f, and therefore dou f by dou y I am writing dou z by dou y. This I have written first two terms and plus delta y, and I shall write this as this bracket as epsilon 2 plus delta x, and the second bracket I shall write this as epsilon 1. So these quantity are denoted by epsilon 2 and epsilon 1, and again I shall put this in one bracket and this in another bracket, and I shall suppose this as second relation. Now here what we will say as delta z, which is change in z. Change in z is expressed in two parts. So what are the values of epsilon 1, epsilon 2 that we should write first. What is epsilon 2 is this bracket, and what is epsilon 1 is the second. So we shall write that first, where epsilon 2 is partial derivative of f with respect to y at point x plus delta x, y plus theta 1 delta y minus partial derivative of f with respect to y at point x comma y, and epsilon 2, epsilon 1. First we have denoted for epsilon 1 we have denoted for this partial derivative with respect to x, that we have denoted as epsilon 1. So if you change it there, it doesn't matter. So epsilon 1 will be this bracket now you see. Again see second is expressed in two parts, first bracket and second bracket. The first of this is called the differential of z, and the second is a very small quantity, and this is the major or principal quantity. The first part is the principal part and is known as differential of z, and second is infinitesimal, means very small. So why? As the change delta x and delta y are small, this quantity is small, and epsilon 2 is again in terms of, see there is a change xy to x plus delta x, y plus theta 1 times delta y. Again this difference will be very small. So small quantity into small quantity will be again reduced to a small quantity, and therefore this is a smaller value or infinitesimal value, and only the principal part we shall consider is the first bracket in 2, the right side of 2. From 2 delta z, the change in z which which is delta z. Change in z, which is delta z, is expressed in two brackets on RHS, or you can say two parts, two brackets on RHS of 2, of which the first is the principal part. First is the principal part, and is denoted by dz. And is called differential of z. Called the differential of z. Differential of z. The second bracket is infinitesimal quantity. Second bracket is an infinitesimal quantity, and thus what we have written here is delta z, which is change in z, is written or is expressed in two parts, of which the first is the principal part, and that part is denoted by dz and is called the differential of z. So thus we have from 2, thus we have dz is this part, delta z, delta x, dou z by dou x, or I shall write that first as partial derivative of z with respect to x into delta x, plus partial derivative of z with respect to y into delta y. So this is what we have the principal part, and we have the second is very small, and that is neglected, or that means the change in z, actual change is delta z, and that is different from dz. It is not only delta z is not equal to dz, but it is dz plus some small quantity, and this is principal part, and that is considered as the differential of z. So thus we have dz is equal to, dz is that result, dou z by dou x into delta x plus dou z by dou y into delta y. But we have written the result in this form, and what remains is to show that delta x is same as dx, that is change in x is same as differential of x, and similarly change in y is delta y, which is same as dy. That we shall show further, and we will suppose this as 3. Now, so suppose the function is z is equal to x. Suppose z is equal to x. This implies, so what this will imply as dx is equal to dz, because x is equal to z. Z is equal to x means x is equal to z, and dx is equal to dz. But what is dz by this result from third? See, dou z by dou x means partial derivative of z with respect to x, that is derivative of partial derivative of x with respect to x, that is 1 into delta x, plus, and what is the partial derivative of z with respect to y? There is no term y, and x is to be treated as constant, so therefore it is 0 into delta y, and finally this will be delta x. You see, this is dx is dz, 1 delta x, 0 delta y. We are using third, and finally this is delta x. So that means dx is equal to delta x. Also z is equal to y. What that will imply? Dy is equal to dz. Again use third. Dy is dz, and dz is dou z by dou x. Now this will be 0, because z is function of y only, and So partial derivative with respect to x will be 0. 0 into delta x plus, now what is dou z by dou y here? It is 1. 1 into delta y, and that is delta y. 0 plus delta y, that is delta y. That means dy is equal to delta y, and therefore 3 becomes, using these values, dx is delta x, dy is delta y. We get, so therefore 3 becomes dz is equal to, dz is partial derivative of z with respect to x into dx plus partial derivative of z with respect to y into dy. We have replaced delta x by dx and delta y by dy in 3, and this is what we wanted to prove. See, this is the result to be proved, and this proves the result, where we have written the meaning of this earlier. What is dz? dz is the differential of z, and what is dx? dx is differential of x, dy is differential of y. We have delta x and dx are equal, delta y and dy are equal, but delta z is not equal to dz. Delta z is actually dz plus this value, which is infinitesimal. That is to be noted. So these are the differentials, are actually the changes, and changes and differential for independent variable are the same, but dependent variable change depends on the differential of x and differential of y. So first take the partial derivative of z with respect to x multiplied by differential of x. Next take the partial derivative of z with respect to y and multiplied by differential of y. That gives, the addition of these two gives the total differential of z. So that's why this is the theorem on total differential, that is total differential of z. The depend has two parts in terms of differential of x and differential of y. So this proves the theorem. So this theorem is important in terms of differentials and the total differential. So we have proved the theorem on total differential. I hope you can understand. Thank you.